Hey gang, this is SWIRLS from Ghost Note Audio. I love it when a new fighter enters the arena because new things happen, right? We get a lot of the old stuff, but I like when the new stuff comes in or there's a new take on something. And I think this is what we're getting here from Ghost Note Audio. Let me explain what this is. This is 3 pedals in one. It is a tri-stereo chorus. It is an H3000-ish Micropitch-ish Micropitcher. And it is a DBX 160-ish compressor. So who doesn't love all of those things? I love all of those things. Now the thing with 2 out of 3 of those things is that they are analog. Yeah, hey, there's a reason why in the rack era everyone used an analog chorus as their first effect. One is it split the signal into stereo from the mono preamp. The other is that analog chorus is kind of untouchable. And I'm just gonna put this out here. No one has created a digital chorus that sounds like an analog chorus. No one. No one. No plugins, no pedals, no racks. If it's analog chorus, sounds like analog chorus. If it's a digital recreation of an analog chorus, it sounds like a digital recreation of an analog chorus. So that's the standard I'm holding the SWIRLS to. I'm not angry that it doesn't sound like an actual analog tri-stereo chorus. It's great. I like that there is a golden chalice. There is this highest level. There's an 11 out of 10. So what I can do is judge this based on all other digital emulations that I've heard, and I've heard a lot of them. So I'm not gonna bury the lead. The best thing in this is the Micropitch. The Micropitch is great. That is replicating a digital product. So the H3000 made famous the Micropitch shift, which takes the original signal, shifts it ever so slightly, 9 cents up and 9 cents down, and does one of these. And then you get this huge chorus that doesn't swirl. It just expands and makes things wide and big. This is one of the better Micropitch shifts because they did something super clever. This row controls the mix blend, the amount of detune, so it's going up and down, and voices is the number of detuned things. So back in the day, it started with 1 detune with the old vintage Eventide devices. Then the H3000 gave you 2. So this voices knob, you can hear as it goes chink and goes to the next mode, it adds layers of voices and it gets thick and beautiful. That's why I say, like, I don't know, this might be the best representation of a Micropitch because you can do a really dead nuts Micropitch, but you could also get thicker, that's what we want. We want more. Now the tri-chorus, it has that traditional left, center, right controls, doot, 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 and that's on a sub thing. You push the stereo button and now you could control your left, center, right of your chorus. It also has the mix blend input control, which sort of ends up becoming your input and output because there's no output. So as you blend up, if you imagine you're adding signals and doubling your sounds, your level is going to increase. So that you have to back it off somewhere to get unity. You have to do it at the input. Well, that's fine. It's no big deal. And then rate, which controls the rate of the manual waveforms. It's chorus that does this, right? And there's also preset, just like the old tri-choruses have. So you could turn off manual and just do preset. You could turn off preset and just do manual. But the super cool people just put them both on and you get all the swirl, right? And when you really demand more width and thickness, then you bring in that micropitch also. So here's your blend for the tri-chorus side, here's the blend for the micropitch. And you can just crank them if you like. Ain't nobody stopping you. And then the more secret function in here is a DBX160 style compressor, and that is all held on the alternate controls. So you have the ratio, if you go all the way to this side, I don't know if I should call this the right or left, but if you go, that's gonna be basically out of the circuit like a 1-to-1 ratio, so no compression. As you turn it clockwise, it goes up 1-to-2 or 2-to-1, 3-to-1, 4-to-1, up to like bonkers squashy. The threshold works the opposite way, so if you turn it all the way clockwise, the threshold, you can't ever reach the threshold, so you're not getting compression. And as you turn it counterclockwise, you're pulling it down, and now everything in your guitar is going to trigger the compression. And very nicely, there's 4 dots here that will show you how much compression you're doing and achieving. I don't know, what would be the word? Reduce, gain, reducing? And then there is an attack control, which, to be honest, I never looked up which direction does which. It doesn't matter. I mean, you could put it to the center. It's a really grabby compressor. Anyway, that's what DBX160s are. They don't have a control for speed. Anyway, the compressor is a fine compressor. It compresses. That's a digital compressor. Gives you some level control. The stereo button allows you to put swirls into mono mode, collapses everything to mono, or stereo mode. There are 2 presets, so you don't have to hit save. You're just in the green mode. You set your sound, you go to red mode, and then you set your sound, and it's always whatever you change, that's what the preset is. Stereo in and out, or mono in and out, whatever. Look at this, 100 milliamps. A Boss DS1, that's like 100 milliamps. Low power draw, super high horsepower, MIDI and expression, USB-C, which is the other super important thing here. There are currently, I say currently, 3 pedals in this line, which is this digital format, same number of knobs. Let's say you're like, you know what, I've decided, I hate chorus. Done with chorus. What I really want is a really cool fuzz. Okay, you just go to the website, and instead of buying the other pedal, you just download the firmware for that pedal, and you go bloop bloop. I mean bloop bloop bloop. And now this pedal has become their digital 8-bit lo-fi bit crushing fuzz pedal. Yeah. That's super cool. The other important thing is that it's firmware updatable. So yeah, so I'm not over the moon about the compressor. Can they make it better? Maybe, probably. Is that a firmware update away? Yes, it is. Is this a real contender for your pedal board space and giving you a ton of value for both the size on your space, giving you 2 presets, 3 options of combinations and things to do, updates. It can become other pedals if you get tired of this. Yeah, this is super fantastic. So I'm a fan. I'm gonna go call it a fan. And I'm gonna try it on my board. I'm not sure yet if it's gonna replace my chorus, but I do believe it will replace my micropitch at this point. So I'm digging the micropitch, and I like the chorus, but we'll see how it fares against my analog chorus pedals in a longer duration once I get out of the honeymoon period, because new stuff is always fun. But You know, it is what it is. So that is Swirls from Ghost Note Audio. I'll put some links below and you can check it out. We'll see you later.